chasing shadows in the night. Words echo silent where I hide. Every mirror shows a stranger's eyes, searching for the part of me that's mine. But the sky ignites a spark inside, burning down to wait. In the ashes of my fight, truth is born again. I will rise up like a phoenix from the flame. Find my voice and call out your name. From the roots of what I used to be, I'll embrace the truth and set it free. Blinded by the weight of all my fears, I let them break me, shape my tears. Every scar's a testament to love. Now I rewrite the story in my mind. Yeah, feel the fire burning. I'm no longer turning away from the truth that's calling. I'm alive today. All I used to be. Rise up free, rise and set me free. Rising high, Phoenix, watch me go.
Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Fair game for the public to hear what the state wanted to hide. Welcome in one, welcome in all. Today is 2 for Tuesday. You're getting 2 streams in one day. Whoop, whoop. And if you missed the amazing announcements yesterday and today, I'll summarize quickly. My mods, every donation on Monday goes directly to the 3 mods here, Caleb, Les, and the amazing Amanda, by the way. And also, I announced this morning, 10% of my total stream income on YouTube will go divided by 3. So not only are they getting the bonus, they are also getting the donations on Monday streams. So that would be 4 donations this week. So if you're looking to donate directly to the mods, you can reach out to them or wait till Mondays here at Phoenix Talks. I'm your host, Phoenix. Welcome. This is where we rise above the assumptions. We forget all the rumors, all the crap you hear. We dispel the lies. We bring out the truth, and we think with open minds. Every question matters. Every angle is welcome. And if this is you, welcome home. If you are trolling and scrolling, keep on scrolling. We don't need any trolls. So welcome in. Let's do this. This is going to be a freaking fantastic, amazing stream. Every stream we start putting together more and more information. Holy S, you guys are going to want to share this. You are going to want to share this far and wide. This is going to be the stream of all streams people will be talking about for a long time. I will tell you, keep in mind, this is speculation. We are sharing information that has been shared through documents, court records, videos, testimony, news articles, family statements, and more, and even the unspoken, unthinkable freaking questions that I ask and we find answers to. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, get into it. Get on it. Thumbs up. Tell somebody quick. As soon as we get to 100, we will start this live stream because you know what? We are worth it, and that's all it takes. We're at 78 right now. I just started. I don't play long music. I get right into it. My mods are clear, here, and awake. Let's welcome everybody in. But do me a favor. If you want the most awesome stream right now, hit the thumbs up button in the chat. Just type thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, a smiley face, anything. Because what happens is the algorithm goes, crap, Phoenix is live again today. 2 for 1. Get it? And it's going to tell everybody, it's going to let every single person know. Whatever the interaction is going on here is on fire. I am going to be dropping some fireballs. And sure you're looking at this picture thinking, what the hell does all this have in common? Well, you know what? When you see it, you can't unsee this shit. I'm going to get feisty. I'm going to get hot and spicy on this second stream because it is a Tuesday afternoon. I am feeling amazing, and we are going to get it right here first. Becca, welcome in. Lulu Bell OGs are in the house today. I appreciate that amazing donation earlier for the mods. I let them know. I am very transparent with them, and they appreciate it. We appreciate you, Lulu Bell. Okie dokie, Lisa, welcome in. Rebecca, Caleb in the house. Marissa, good to see you, girl. I hope things are going good with you. Amanda is in the house. So is Caleb. Whoop, whoop. Patty's in the house. Cat's girl, Pokey Dots. Karen, Donna Rosa, James. I'm going through everybody. If I don't mention you, I still love you, even if you may be trolling. Jackie, Anna D, Real Eyes, Anna, Sue, Amanda. You know, I was going to tell the TikTok streets I was going live over here, and I forgot. So if anybody's on TikTok, go tell your friends real quick. Pauline, welcome in. Love the name. Les, Terry, OGs are in the house. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. And for all the replay crew, you guys freaking rock. You know, download me, take me in the car with you, take me to work out with you, whatever. I appreciate every single one of you. That On Point Riken. Keep up the good work, Phoenix. We will surely bring up the good work and bring you everything we have to give. Sammy T, welcome in. James, welcome back. We appreciate you. You guys have been loyal, real live friends. Kristen, welcome back. Rockstar Vixen, love your name. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great evening. It is freaking fantastic and on fire. Hello, Sil Francisco. Good to see you, Grace. Donna Rosa, White Lotus, welcome back. We love you too. Pokey Dots, we're on fire. Drop us some love. Drop my mod some love. And we will get into it because we're at 111. So let's get to it. I know y'all are thinking Phoenix has lost her ever loving flippin' mind. You know what? Every time I read something and it clicks, I'm like, crap. Can't you just wait for this one? I'm telling you, the pictures I find on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok from these people involved in this case blow my mind. Blow my ever-loving mind when I put it together. Y'all, let me start the stream this way. You guys are going to flip. You're going to freaking flip. Do me a favor. Let's see if we're all on the same page. Whether you are coming to this stream first, you never heard about the Idaho 4 before. If you are coming into this stream and you have been following, even if you have been following in a distance, silently, until the real facts started coming out. Let's start with the guy on the left flipping everybody off. Let's just ask a question here. I want to see how smart you people in the nest are. And I know you are freaking top notch, by the way. Let me ask you a question. Between me and you, who was the last known person in the house before the police came? The last known person in the house before the police came. Who was it? I'm setting the stage here for you guys. Yep. Uh-huh. You guys are getting it. All right. And I'm telling you, I know for a fact, the bigger and bigger this stream gets, the more people watch. Just let me throw this in here. The more people watch these videos, watch my streams, my mods are banking money. And I am so honored that I have given them a way to make a little bit of money on the side. Because you know what? Times are tough. Times are really tough. And I don't think I could have ever had the best mods ever. They are the best mods on YouTube, folks. They have got my back. They watch the chat. They are every freaking where. They are smart people. But I'll tell you, when I push out a stream like this, I know people are watching, and I know these bots and these people that don't want the truth out there are coming in hot. They block my chats. They try to take my website. They strike my YouTubes for community violations. They are doing everything they can to stop me. And you know what? Nothing is going to stop me. If I have to go to my own website and share you the truth, make sure you get to that freaking website. Sign up for the newsletter. Because if something happens to my channels, that is how you're going to stay in contact. I'll just make a new freaking channel. I'll make new websites. I'll do whatever I can. But, I'm not shocked that this has happened. It's happened in the past. It's happened in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Yeah. But let me just share this with you. On the Justice for All website, it has a little area on the bottom. And right on the bottom, it says email. Make a fake email. I don't care. Get signed up. Why? In case my channel goes down, you're going to need to know where to find me. Right there, join our mailing list. Right at the bottom, sign up. That's all I'm asking for. In case you don't have access to all these documents that have disappeared overnight, they are all right here for you to download, and all the court documents in the repository is there, all in one-stop shop on this website. I have to go ahead and share that. That's just house cleaning stuff that I got to do. So definitely get there. Now, what am I talking about this? Why would Hunter be flipping people off on the internet? Don't know. Don't care. Probably one of those really cool pictures that he thought was going to be, epic. Well, Mr. Hunter, this picture is epic. There you go. There's the website. Justice for, spelled out Fourall. Epic picture for epic times. Epic year. Now, I'm not just talking shit, guys. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. I'm giving you the facts. All right? Who would have known his picture would be blasted on a channel where we speculate, where we talk? The last person in the house was, and I preface, you know what he called him? His homeboy. His homeboy was in the house. And I wasn't the one that said that Kaylee's blood was on the table on the second floor. I wasn't the one that said that. But I heard it. And when I heard it, I was like, holy freaking moly. This is speculation 100%. What if Hunter Johnson, aka Homeboy, was the one that they had go and plant this sheath? Would you think I'm crazy? Would you think I was wacko? Or would you think that makes fucking sense? Excuse my French if you got little kids around. I'm sorry. This is an evening stream and I am livid and on fire. Okay? Now, I'm just saying this. Everyone kept saying, well, how did Kaylee's blood get on the ping pong table next to the knife? Well, logically, if the last person in the house was asked to do something for the homeboy, hey, homeboy, do me a favor. Yeah. Now, the reason I say this is because per Lyndon Beck's statement, he says that they called around 10 a.m. If you have not seen that stream on the 10 a.m. witnesses on my channel, you might want to go back and take a look at that stream. Why? Because it's got some Really important information in there. What kind of information? Information that will make this stream make sense. Okay? Yeah, I did. I'm getting spicy. Sorry. The more I look at this, the more spicier I'm getting. And I don't mean to be so spicy, but I'm telling you, if you go back to my channel and you don't know where we're coming from, go and watch I think it was before Dylan. It is right here, 10 a.m. witnesses in the Idaho 4. You will understand very quickly what we were talking about. Okay? In this stream, Lyndon Beck states that the girls were called at 10 a.m. right here. Right here, Lyndon said Hunter and Emily came into the room where he was and Josie were. Because, see, Josie dated Lyndon. They were BF, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Lyndon said Dylan had called Emily around 10 a.m. Now, it was known that Hunter was there before Lyndon, Hunter, Josie, and everyone else show up. That was per their statements and the reports. It's weird looking at me talking about my stream. All right. So homeboy is the last one in the house before 911 is called. Or let me just back up a little bit, because the G said they weren't notified until 12 hours after they had already passed. They gave us a clue. Now, I'm not saying I 100% believe everything the G's say, but I take out what I glean and what I need, and then I think about it for a little bit. I stew on it, and then I'm like, wow, that makes sense. This didn't happen at the 4 a.m. It happened at the 2 a.m., and that is what all the statements are lining up to be. Okay. So if you start looking at Dylan told Emily someone had been in her house last night at 10 a.m. Wow. Then we have another witness standing in line in Clarkston, and she basically says, yeah, I got the U of I little thing right here. Jay stated she was in Clarkston on 11/13 at approximately 10 a.m. hours, and she went to the Albertsons to pick up some coffee and donuts. She said, Jay said she had seen the U of I alert on Facebook, and she was standing in line and called her boyfriend to tell him about it, about 10 a.m. So everybody in there knew. Everybody around there knew what was going on before 10 a.m., which makes a lot of sense. So when you start looking at this picture, you have to dig a little deeper. You have to dig a little deeper. And I ask the unthinkable questions. So if this is the stream where you don't want me to ask unthinkable questions, here is your chance to eliminate yourself right now. Get off the stream. But if this is a stream for you, go grab yourself a drink and a snack, because it's going to get really spicy. Has anybody ever thought the DNA from Hunter Chapin under Maddie's nails could actually be Ethan's? And if that's the case, did they ever differentiate between Ethan's DNA and Hunter's Chapin's DNA? Yes, his brother. Has anyone ever asked? Because you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. There are CIs in colleges. There are confidential informants. Come on, guys, let's get real. The university had undercover, plainclothes officers on not just a alcohol, offense. They were looking for drug offenses. They have an alcohol and drug undercover buddies. And you know who I think could possibly be a CI, in my humble opinion? I think it was Hunter Johnson. And I also think it could have been someone else that we've seen quite often. And I reference this all the time. He must be getting millions of views from at least my IP address. Who would that be? Well, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look here, because it makes sense. Here it is. I'll give you the lowdown. We've been talking about this for some time. I think when he says the word homeboy is used a lot in this case, and I mean a lot. So, are there any homeboys maybe in this picture?
No, let me run this through dispatch. Make sure you're actually 21 and give me a fake birthday or anything.
Are there any other homeboys in this picture that you could probably see? Maybe. Is it possible? Is it possible? I mean, think about it. You've got upperclassmen that are graduates doing masters, and all of a sudden, did they finish school there or did they just go somewhere else? A lot of them went somewhere else. How convenient. How convenient. I can understand Dylan and Bethany wanting to go somewhere else because of what they endured. But I could also think there's a lot of other people that stayed in the area that are from there that really have nowhere else to go. Were there any other informants that you can think of in this case that would be like, why would he be showing him pictures on his phone? I mean, Hunter was the last one there. Was there anybody there with Hunter? Anybody? Wasn't this guy with Sigma Chi? Right? I know Hunter was with, I know that Hunter Johnson was with another frat, but they could have a frat in, they could have a CI in all these fraternities, in some of these sororities. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. So people who know. But why would this guy be showing an officer pictures on his phone? I mean, I would never hand over my phone to an officer, let alone I would show my picture.
Good. Since they're not open, I'll let you hang on to them.
Okay. So will I get charged with anything?
No,
or?
no.
Okay.
And he didn't get charged that night, by the way.
Appreciate it.
But it's just enough for me to stop, check, make sure you're 21,
Of course.
walking
Yeah,
around
I
through the public.
Alrighty.
Moscow 77, check one. What's that?
Am I going to take off? Or?
No, let me run this through dispatch. Make sure you're actually 21 and give me a fake birthday or anything. Gonna be a two-part last. Charles Henry Ida.
Give me a fake birthday. Come on. Come on. There are so many homeboys in this scenario. So, did you even know that Brian Koberger's defense basically spelled it out for the judge in a document that was given that basically said, Your Honor, the only way there could have been some type of connection between him and somebody else could have been X, Y, and Z. Of course, they've redacted that. I'll give it to you in a minute. They redacted the whole thing out of it. Why? Because they're trying to still hide information. Now, check this thing out. Check it out. Well, you know what? Let's go here first. Let's do this. Since I'm talking about Brian Koberg, I wanted to wait till the end. But this was from the defense. This was state objection to defendant's offer of proof regarding alternative perpetrators and defendant's evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternative perpetrator. The defense, Brian Koberger's defense, said the only possible connection to any of the victims was redacted. This behavior is not provable of any role in the homicides and is excludable under Rule 404. What were they trying to say? What were they trying to do? Well, we'd have to go and look up Rule 404. And when you look up Rule 404, you're going to understand one clear thing. They were trying to get him on freaking anything. Can you believe that? Okay. Now, Rule 404 is basically saying, they can use anything against you in the court of law. But get this is what I find funny. They wanted to use the fact that Kohberger had a what? What do you think they wanted to use against Kohberger? It's basically using your character against you. Basically using whatever thing they can, whatever they could use against you. So what do you think they had against Kohberger? Let's just take a lucky guess. I mean, we know they have nothing. We typically know they had nothing. But Rule 404 basically says that, and it's B, so you're going to look at the bottom, crimes, wrongs, or other acts. Prohibitive uses, evidence of a crime, wrong, other act is not admissible to prove a person's character in order to show that on a particular occasion the person acted in accordance with their character. All right. Basically, they wanted to use his traffic stop that yielded a $10 seatbelt charge. And what else? What else do you think they wanted to use against him? Okay. They wanted to use that silly old traffic stop. And yeah, there was something else they wanted to use. Hold on, let me see if I've still got the screenshot. Where is this? Oh, my husband's trying to act funny. Okay, nope, that's not it. Let me see which one this is. Nope, not that one either. Nope, not that one. Dang it. Well, I'll just tell you what they wanted to use. As soon as I pull up the document, hold on a minute. What was the other thing? No, not his drug history. They wanted to use only what they could use in the state of Idaho. It was some silly little citation. I think it was the citation and the $10 the $10 ticket for the seatbelt. I think that was all they had against him. Not the drug history. Hold on a minute. Let me grab it. This is wild, guys. And I thought, why in the world would they want to just use that against him? Because they didn't have anything. They had nothing on him. Okay, so it should be precluded. Let me see. This one is another one. Oh, yes. The video. Okay, here it is. The video of the traffic stop, West Pullman Road, Farm Road, and the citation regarding the same traffic stop. Prior bad acts. Exactly. Okay, so they wanted to say that he had a disdain for the law and Timu cops. Okay. Oh, these cops have way too much time on their hands. Oh, my word. Yeah, prior bad acts, the stoplight. And they were grasping at straws because they had nothing. But they were, even if they wanted to use the honesty and character against him, he wasn't defying them. Think about it. Brian Kohberger's traffic stop. There was two, actually. Remember this one? Remember this traffic stop?
Like tough, you're trying traffic. Pullman at Farm with Pennsylvania. Lincoln Frank Zebra 8649. Hey there. I stopped you going a little fast. You realize this is 35? It's 35? It is, yeah. So you got 43 is what the radar said. Sure. Oh, yeah. Do you have your license?
He knew he was going 41, but the officer told him 43. I wonder if they calibrate their speed little radar things. I'm sure they do, but that's neither here nor there. He wasn't going that fast. I mean, going 7 over is not a big deal, but obviously in a small town, maybe it is.
Registration,
And
insurance.
remember, I'm not giving any legal advice. I'm not giving any speeding advice. I'm not giving any motor vehicle advice here.
Were you wearing your seatbelt when I stopped you? No.
And he says no. And what does the officer do? Did you all catch that? He was honest. And they want to use this against him.
No.
No, he chuckles.
That's no good.
Just being honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm just being honest.
I appreciate
with you.
that.
You guys are. There's absolutely no point in not being honest.
Yeah.
You got the radar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you have a vehicle registration slip or something like that? Okay.
Or did I give you my insurance?
Yeah, this is your insurance. That's good. Thing is, I'm on a overtime
See, he just handed his insurance right back to him.
shift right now. One of the conditions is we have to enforce seatbelt laws.
Now this is the sheriff. This is the sheriff of Latah County. This is out of the city limits. This is in the county limits. And he's being totally honest with Deputy Duke. I believe that was his name.
And so, write you a citation for that. It's 10.
And this, my friends, is the reason I'm bringing this up. He is honest. He asks questions to clarify, which is totally normal. And this is like my son with autism that talks to me. He wants to know what he did wrong. He wants to know how to improve things. And he needs us to make the connection to help him out. It's crazy, but it happens.
$10 in Idaho. Not a huge deal, but
he explains the fine to him, which most cops wouldn't. They just check it off and he'd have to go to court and find out.
Yeah. Be right back.
And this stream is not about a man with autism. It is and it isn't. See, you have to understand those with autism are more likely to be railroaded, to be pigeonholed into crimes and wrongdoings. It's sad, but it's the truth, and it's the statistics that I've talked about before that nobody else is talking about. They are easily manipulated into these things, just in my humble opinion and per statistics. Now, this is what they wanted to use against him, folks. They wanted to use this against him and say, how were they going to link his bad past behaviors to a murder? Woo, I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot. Because you know what? This is more untrustworthy than some PhD student with autism not able to talk to women or get along socially with other people, but yet the consulting firm of the president of the University of Idaho can funnel $7.3 million. How freaking crazy is this? How crazy is this? All right. I'll get off of this one because there's more things that we need to discuss today in this case, like the disaster. This was one of the most freaking disasters in true crime or case that I have ever seen in over 22 years. Ever. Disaster response came to, I'm getting hot in here. I got to turn up the air. Now I know why Birdie opens the window all the time. I'm telling you. Boy, I'm sure my kids can hear me screaming through my walls right now. Woo! Can you freaking imagine? Can you imagine getting arrested on the day they go and clean up a crime scene that you are accused of.
Koberger's sister Melissa, aka Mel, finally speaks out after all these years, and now we know where the heart drawing came from. And not only that, some of the details that she won't discuss, allowing the drawing to be given to him to let him know that he was loved and to stay positive during this process. So if you remember, the purple
Oh,
blackish heart that was on the
y'all,
table was
I think
actually
that is the
given to
wrong video. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is.
this one detail was easy to miss but impossible to ignore. Imagine being arrested at the same time that the crime scene is going to be cleaned. It was actually scheduled to be cleaned on the same day as Brian Koberger was being arrested. How do we know this? In the documents, it explains it in great detail, and I'll share with you. So here is one news source that basically says that he was arrested on the morning of December 30th, 2022. Here's another article that says that no arrests were made until the morning of December 30th when they arrested Koberger at his parents' home in Chestnut Hill Township. This picture that was shared is the FBI that came in. Now, listen to what Melissa Koberger said in her article the other day that I reviewed. And here's the article by Melissa Koberger. And it said, in the early hours of December 30th, 2022, while Mr. Koberger and his parents were alone in the house, police officers burst in with guns drawn, shattering glass and rushing to place him in handcuffs. Now, how do I know that the crime scene house was being cleaned? This supplement 92 by the Moscow Police Department by Captain Roger Lanier said that on December 30th, same day, 2022, at approximately 8:45 hours. Now, back obviously in the East Coast, it was a couple hours ahead, but obviously he was arrested first, and then this disaster services responded to the 1122 King Road to begin cleaning the residents of biohazards and other chemicals used during the crime scene processing. Now, this was halted because Latah County prosecutors Bill Thompson called and advised that the judge ordered to stop the cleanup and be halted immediately. At that point, he says, I instructed the services crew to stop. How would you feel if you were just arrested and you find that the crime scene that you've been accused of doing is being scrubbed and cleaned? Leave your comments, drop them below. I did a long form YT.
All right. How would it feel, the pure and sheer coordination it would take to arrest someone the morning they're going to clean the crime scene? How would that make you feel? Well, yeah, that screams a little bit more cover freaking up. Cover freaking up, in my humble opinion. Because I will tell you, how did they even, and I've been asking for months, how did they even connect Brian Koberger to this sorority, fraternity, people that lived in the house? They gave the answer, but we can't see it. The only possible connection to any of the victims was, and they named individuals. They had to have named individuals. They had to. Because it says the defendant also alleges and redacted. Busted or what? If that's not enough, wait till I show you what's next. In the documents, this is the motion in limine. Motion in limine is when you go to court. Now, I've got some court cases under my belt. I'm not a legal professional. I have been on the defendant side and have won cases. I'm talking big cases. I've had a Supreme Court case. And I will tell you, when you are defending yourself, you better have your ducks in a row. And Brian Koberger's back was against the wall. Ann Taylor's back was against the wall. They had one of two options. You go to the death penalty, because I guarantee you, the state did not want to go to trial. So you either have the death penalty. Well, let's take that off the table. There's no legal advice here. No legal advice. But I'm going to tell you this. Yeah, I tried Jasper. Believe me. There's a great creator on TikTok back in the day. She is amazing. Yeah, it doesn't work. The level of defending yourself here is either you take the deal. I mean, he could have played chicken and stalemated. He could have forced them into going to trial. But we know that there's always a backup plan. So the only option was to not die by a brand new facility that Idaho was making, where they push a button in one room and in another room, all the guns fire at you. That's the firing squad in the future. So here in a footnote, I found this one piece of passage. Motion in limine is basically when you go to court and they say you can only talk about X, Y, and Z. And they were saying that you can't talk about how they got the DNA from the knife sheath. And in this motion in limine, they basically say, well, item Q11 was tested for DNA. It was never subjected to standard biological testing for the presence of blood or saliva. In one email exchange, Rylene Nowlin, who was scheduled to testify as a witness for the state, described the swabbing as being of the leather strap and internal metal area of the snap. The snap itself may have not been swabbed for DNA. Now, isn't that a catch-22? Did you guys want me to read this again? Did you all get this? Rylene Nowlin, in an email exchange, described the swabbing as being of the leather strap and internal metal area of the snap. The snap itself may have not been swabbed at all for DNA. The defense has no ability to retest based on the fingerprint processing of the sheath. Wow, this is freaking huge. Yes, Caleb. Yes, yes, yes. And they cannot, Caleb says it sounds like they're speaking out both sides of their mouth. This is exactly what it is. Because, see, MPD said they did the swabbing, and there was no chain of custody. None. They can laugh all they want at us. They can laugh, ha, ha, ha. But we're the ones that are going to prove them wrong, that he's not guilty. Just like the fridge. Just like the fridge. Time them out. I'll block them. So listen to this. When we get into the other DNA, 2 other male profiles, those are the 2 unidentified DNA that I have been talking about all along, identified in the ISP lab reports as unknown B and unknown D, were never run through CODIS or subjected to IgG testing. Well, why is that? You have 2 unidentified male blood, but never gave an explanation why they didn't run it through CODIS and why it wasn't subject to IgG testing. The defense has never received an explanation as why these 2 male profiles were not further investigated. Well, do me a big favor, ISP and MPD and the DOJ. Go and find out who these 2 male unknown. Go out and find them. That's a challenge. It's a new year. If we're not going to change, let's challenge them. Let's get out there and let's do it. Let's do it. Because you know what the court testimony was in regards to this? Listen to this. The defense even told the court, more importantly, Mr. Koberger has disclosed that through further independent laboratory testing, he is eliminated as a contributor to 13.1. When Mr. Koberger sought to overturn the grand jury indictment, he argued that Miller's testimony was inadmissible and misleading. The state argued that the testimony was presented to the grand jury as exculpatory and an effort to elicit favorable evidence for Mr. Koberger. The independent lab testing conducted by the defense, 13.1, is indeed exculpatory. Mr. Koberger was excluded, and the state should be precluded from misleading the jury in any way. Conclusion: a fair trial is mandated, and this was in February of 2025. Mr. Koberger's federal and state constitutional rights due to due process, fair trial, and effective of counsel and confrontation of witnesses. But do you know what Judge Hippler told them? Do you know what Judge Hippler told the defense? In one order he wrote. Seriously. He basically told them that these witnesses were not able to testify. He told the court, he told the defense, he told them right here, he denied expert witnesses' testimony. It is hereby ordered that defendants' witnesses Cy Ryan, and David Howell shall not be allowed to testify at all in the hearing that they had that could possibly exonerate him. What do you think about this? What do you think about this denying of witnesses to take him out of the game and make them go find out who these other 2 unidentified male DNA was? It is sinister to have somebody in prison that has no proof other than the DNA. Single source. And if you know how DNA works, that single source is transferable. It could have been transferred there. It could have even been planted there. The defense may have never stood a chance. But see, under the Constitution of the United States of America, they never gave him a chance. And this is the exact testimony and the record on file that shows how illicit they were being in regards to this data. And I'm going to show you this, and we're going to get into the DNA that will set you for a freaking loop. Your hair is going to be on fire. It's going to be on fire, guys. Because you know what? The newspapers weren't the only ones that knew that this DNA existed. Other people reported that there was 2 unknown DNAs. It wasn't just the court record. It was actually More magazines and articles were reporting the DNA of 3 people under Maddie Mogen's fingernails. Why Brian Koberger's lawyer, why they wanted it tossed. It wasn't his DNA. But do you know what came of those analysis? 2 other males. 2 other males that were identified. But why? Cole Beringberger was one of those, and they said maybe it was transfer DNA because they hugged at the grub truck. Okay, I get that. But Ethan was never seen back around after 1:45. So how could Ethan's DNA get under her nails? Or was it Ethan's DNA? What if it was her attacker's DNA? What if it was, and they just didn't know how they were going to explain it? What if it was a sibling's DNA? Has anybody asked that question? Has anybody thought, how in the world did Ethan's DNA get under Maddie's nails? I mean, we saw the clippings from the forensic reports, right? And we even saw the state's clear exhibit list they were going to bring to trial. There were other signs. There were other clues that was given to us. Like this one, for example. State's exhibit list. I never knew that they had located all these people, perhaps. Why did they mention 620 Taylor? I know we talked about this before. I could never find a 620 Taylor. But what I did find is other close addresses. I don't know if this is the true address or not, but let me just show you what I did find. I found 619 Taylor, which is kind of in between the Queen Roads and the Whites. The Whites is a different address, by the way. So it couldn't have been 620. It couldn't have been. If anybody finds the 620 Taylor as the state says in their documents, I'd be interested to find out what 620 is. 620 in this document says that Dylan Mortensen, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, and Bethany Funk may have been at the 620 address. That is that tan apartment. All right, let me go take a look. We can turn this into a little bit of a live dig. Let's see what we find. 620 tan apartment. 620. Nothing pops up for me. Amanda, you're on it. I know you are. If you find something at 620, let me know because I don't find a 620. I have used Avenue. Nothing pops up. 620 Taylor. I've got a 621. 621. I Googled it and it's blurred out. Ashley says, interesting. Yeah, didn't EG say that MM was eating the food from the grub truck with her fingers? How does that play in it? I don't know. How could somebody else's DNA get under her fingernails? And why don't we have the reports of other people's fingernails, like Xana's and Kaylee's and Ethan's himself? Why would they only give us Maddie's fingernails? Why would they only give us Maddie's? I don't have a 620 anywhere. It's blurred out. Let me try Google Maps. Let me try Google Earth too. That's a good one. Hold on. 620 Taylor Avenue. New map. 620. Avenue, Moscow. Here we go. 620. Google Maps shows nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let me try a detailed map. 620. Nope. Satellite. Is it the one on the corner? Huh. Let me see. This is what I'm looking at. I don't even see an option. Let me see. Contours. Nope. 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 Let me try Google Maps. See if I can get it there. Someone says they got it, but it's blocked out. And I'm wondering if this can also be heard if it's that close. Ah, here it is. It's blurred out. Shoot, that was in October of 2027. It's blurred out. What is there, though? What could that possibly be? Why is it blurred out? So if this is 619, this has got to be 620. That's 619. This little place has to be it. But that looks like the corner of those apartments. This is Queen and Linda Lane, but this is Linda Lane. So how could that be? Let's see if I can go down further. Let's see if it'll let me. This is Taylor. This is 619. This has got to be, no, that's 621. Yeah, it won't let me see anything. Unless it's 626. That's 617. This is 619. There is no 620. There is none. It's a part of the Banfield. Well, that's what I thought. But what is there? It's blurred out. Obviously, on this side of the street, it's odd. 619, 6, no, that's an even number. 613. That's 613. What is it right here? What's blurred out is over here, Sigma Chi. So why would they need to blur it out? That's 626, 613. That's Sigma Chi back here. I would think that it would be on this side. This is the Palouse Properties. I'm thinking it's this building right here. This would be 620. And that would be 7. Nope, it's not. Huh. I wonder. Where is 620? Should there be something there? Or is it across the street? What do you think? Apartments at 620 Taylor Avenue are part of a larger complex. Also known, it can be found, the complex is located near the, what's the rest of that? Let's see. Maybe it's the basement level apartment. Oh, crap. Like it's got two addresses, top and bottom. Wouldn't it be Unit 1 and Unit 2? Wouldn't that be it? Carrie Johnson, that could be it. What does she say? Let me go back a little. Hey, Wicca Wicca. It's good to see you. I'm wondering if the sibling DNA being under Maddie is the reason why the Chapins did not. Yep. I was thinking that for the last, I don't know, 6 months. There's a reason. Now, this is from 2007, folks. They're not showing us any more recent than that. Nope, there's no other options for dates. This is 2007, and they blocked out Sigma Chi over here, which is really strange. So I'm wondering, let me go to apartment.com and let me see. 620 Taylor Avenue, Moscow, Idaho. All right, I don't see, I know my screen is a little jacked real quick. Hold on. Yeah, they don't give me any further updates. Maybe it's the basement. Oh, interesting. All right, so here we go. We have 620. Let's see. We've got 620. Let's see if it'll give me this one. Nope. Won't give it to me. Amanda, if you find anything, let me know. 620 Taylor Ave. It's not giving me anything found. Nada. Maybe DA would know. Yeah, he might know. It's not giving me anything for 620. Let me check and see if Amanda just sent me a message. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
I'm going to go look into apartments.com. Apartment.
Okay, so that's the main address of Taylor Avenue Apartments. So why, I mean, in all the stuff that we have read, all the statements, how, why would the state say that they were all at that one Taylor Road Apartments? Why would the state have that in their exhibit list, saying that 620, they were all at this party, maybe? They were all here at the same time? Why would the state be saying that they were all together maybe at 620 Taylor? Is this where this maybe happened or went down, or who knows, right? So I'm going to say this. How do we know for sure, since they haven't shared it with us, we can only speculate here, that the DNA, who else was at this party? The picture was taken there, absolutely. That's the picture where it was taken. Because it puts the frats farther from the scene. Smart. Smart. Wow. So when you look at this picture, the last person in the house known on paper and interviews was Hunter Johnson before 10 a.m. that eventually they called the police a couple hours later. And in addition, there were, what did Olivia say they were? Experimental wounds. Experimental wounds that maybe somebody in sports medicine, maybe going for their doctorate, maybe going to med school would know where to stab someone. Experimental wounds. Yeah, I don't know about that one. But what I did read was this in regards to the DNA. What DNA? The DNA on the sheet that was said to be present at the crime scene. And I'm just going to take it back a little bit further, and I'm going to share this one with you. This is going to be the interactive document that I have instead. All right. Now, I'm going to have to take it a little bit further back to get into this to have you understand why this is so important. So, Ann Taylor is asking the questions, and basically, there's a couple different people in this that are answering the questions. And this is a direct examination, cross examination, and they are getting into the sheath details. And you got to understand, we're going to go over male B and D, unknown, never figured out, never looked into DNA. And this gets crazy. It says they're looking for someone, right? Who, and anyone that would fit this build, in my humble opinion. So they go back and they say, if I told you the lab reported unknown male B came from a blood spot on the handrail going between the second and the first floor, does that help jog your memory? Oh, yes, ma'am. Why did you not pursue that person? At that point in time, we already received Mr. Koberger's name, and from what my understanding was, entering another DNA profile into CODIS would remove the previous one we had from the knife sheath. So if memory serves, the discussion was we'll hold off, we'll stay with the one from the knife sheath if we need to. We can address unknown male B at a later time. And basically, Anne says, I want to make sure I understand your testimony. You were not aware of unknown male B until after December 19th when you knew Brian Koberger's name. No, ma'am, I was aware of that before. Yes? How about unknown male D? Again, you're going to have to be more specific. If I told you unknown male D came from a lab report sample from basically the bloody gloves outside the house, does that refresh your memory? Yes, ma'am, it does. You're aware of that too? Yes, ma'am. I want to back up and talk about the affidavits. I think you told me to the prior hearing that you were the person that wrote Exhibit A, or the affidavit in support of the search warrants, when it came back looking for things about Brian Koberger. Did I understand that right? Yes, ma'am. And that affidavit, when you began, was on December 23rd to get records. As far as when I started writing the affidavit, is that what you're referring to? I believe the first search warrant that applied to Mr. Koberger, yes, was on the 23rd. When did you begin writing that affidavit? I began writing that affidavit long before that. I had been running the affidavit because at the beginning of it, there was a walkthrough of the crime scene. There's numerous things. It was a living document. This is pain. So we just had to add information to it. I'd say the document started, I don't know, a couple weeks prior to that before we knew Koberger's name. Now, help me understand the parts that were added after you knew Koberger's name. Well, to walk down the line the best I can. So obviously there's initial component, which is the crime scene, the testimony from the roommates, then that shifts to, I believe, the first mention of the first component of Mr. Koberger's name was pulled over by Corporal Duke in a traffic stop. I can't make this shit up. He was also contacted by WSU. His vehicle, obviously, was ran by WSU PD officers. Then we included it, tried to walk down through the thing without in front of me. We included the vehicle information, the white Elantra. After that, we included his residence and all this other stuff. And he says, let's go back to the time before you added the traffic stop. That affidavit contains some information that you gained from other officers. Is that right? Yes, ma'am. Okay, you didn't write large parts of that affidavit. Is that right? It took a lot of language from experts and other officers and agent. That's correct. Because remember, Payne wasn't a seasoned investigator. He was a officer and then promoted very quickly to take this case over. And so let's get to the next part about the sheath. To my recollection, unknown male A came from the swab taken from the knife sheath that was submitted by the Moscow Police Department. It was never swabbed by ISP first. There was no chain of custody that we know now because the forensic documents came out, because it was returned and it was not even taped or sealed or signed on the tape. And then the ISP lab sealed it after they decided to test it and send it to Othram. That in itself should be inadmissible, in my humble opinion, because MPD swabbed it, sent it to the lab with no chain of custody. So there you have it. How did they get transferable DNA? How? Well, they had plenty of time, in my humble opinion, to figure out a game plan, not 10 hours, but more than 10 hours. Not 8 hours, more than 10 hours. Are you aware of unknown male B? I believe that was another sample from the house. That was the glove outside. The bloody glove. Feeling like OJ and the Slender Man here, guys. Wow. It just keeps getting better and better because they didn't have unknown male B and D. And obviously E was made from his dad's fingerprints from the trash they took. I mean, it's all here in front of us. Y'all can go and take a look. Everything is now falling into place. It's a lot to understand. It's a lot to read. It's a lot to comprehend. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Everyone was talking about this unknown male DNA. Everyone was talking about he was arrested and the cleaning crew was dismissed. Rolo says we've all been fooled. Well, we've been awake. In my humble opinion, blood DNA is more powerful than trace DNA. So I guess Brian Koberger got the big bird, in my humble opinion. What a freaking disaster. What would be the point that they would frame him for this? What would be the point? But he does tell us that the only possible connection to any of the victims was blankety blank 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 redacted. What was the connection? Does anybody know what the real connection was? I think once we figure this out, we're not trying to solve anything. They're just giving us enough information to go down every rabbit hole and put the pieces together for ourselves. Because remember that chain of custody that I told you about? It's in the forensic documents. There was no chain of custody. This should have been thrown out a long time ago. This definitely should have been thrown out, in my humble opinion. What do you think? Should they have thrown out this document when there was no chain of custody for this sheath? I mean, people have been trying to tell everyone for a while, but nobody's really listening. When is someone going to finally begin listening? Any idea? Because the conclusive information was redacted also, but we do know that a percentage of the DNA was in fact Cole Beringberger, and allegedly they said it was Ethan Chapin's. Why would Maddie's nails have Ethan's DNA? We'll go down that rabbit hole next. Someone said, connection, Phoenix. He is a Fed. They should have threw out the PCA. They should have thrown out the DNA. They should have done it all. Should have done it all. They should throw Brian out of jail. That's what they should do. They should. That's what they should do. It is a huge disaster. Absolutely. So what do? Well, I wrote the DOJ. I've sent other certified documents off. Believe me, if Brian was a Fed, he surely is not sitting in jail. Hopefully. We need to keep at it. FBI thinks no, nobody's given up here. No one is giving up. Send the message. No one is giving up. But you know what? That thumbs up, that fingers up on Hunter is the epic picture of 2026. Because that's what I'm like. What in the world? Thank you, Rolo, for making all your videos. We appreciate you. I'm just reading the documents and going over everything, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Yep. But I think it was Hunter, his brother. Possibly. Big speculation. The DNA would be just like his brother. Did they differentiate the DNA? If Maddie and Kaylee were together, I can understand their DNA under each other's fingernails. But if Dylan was not around, if Xana was not around either of those two other girls, how could not Hunter Johnson's, how could Ethan's DNA be under Maddie's nails? How is that possible? And that's what we're doing. We have to speculate. We have to look at this with new eyes. We have to rise to the challenge. We have to look at things differently in order to get to a new conclusion. Because what the victim's fingernails is referenced, it's a given. They showed us what was there. But why is this so important? Why has nobody looked down this road that it could have been someone else's DNA and not Ethan's? Is this why what I went over this morning, a part of this? I started going down that rabbit hole today. Remember this I shared this morning? The coroner basically said that she's no longer working with this county. Remember that this morning? Tuesday, 2 streams, 2 for 1. What happened in this county with autopsies that they refuse to service this county anymore? Why? Why is it that they severed the relationship and they will not do any more autopsies? Did someone make a mistake? I don't think Kaylee and Maddie, I think maybe Kaylee and Maddie are dead. The Congalva's reaction to the whole case, they went after Ethan and Xana. Interesting.
Spokane County ended its contract with the Kootenai County Coroner's Office. This means that Kootenai County is now without a facility to perform autopsies. KREM 2's Caitlin Galloway was at the coroner's office today to find out how they're planning to move forward.
Here at the Kootenai County Coroner's Office, they're scrambling to remodel this building after an abrupt end to a contract with Spokane County. Kootenai County Coroner Duke Johnson says he was notified by email in mid-December that Spokane County was ending the contract as a result of one of Kootenai County's employees, quote, actively working against the agency. Johnson says he's still looking for clarity and evidence in regard to the allegations. Now and for the rest of 2026, the coroner's office is moving forward. They've received emergency funding from the county commissioners to remodel one of the rooms in their facility in order to perform autopsies, which is the first step to becoming an independent office with their own medical examiner. It just moved up their timeline.
Since the whole inland empire is growing, we realized that we can't depend upon Spokane for the long term anyway. So
That's Johnson.
we started the process of creating our own autopsy facility here in Kootenai County. And we've been going through that process for 2 years.
We reached out to Spokane County officials about ending the contract and have not heard back at this time. The county coroner says that this room should be ready in about 3 months. Reporting in Kootenai County, Caitlin Galloway.
3 months. What are they going to do with their people that they need to send for autopsies? What are they going to do? Are they going to go ahead and bite the bullet and send them down to Ada County to be autopsied? Wow, that is a huge cost to them. They won't be up and running for 3 months. It is going to be a backlog like you won't believe for that county. So, why are you reporting live from the morgue? I know, that's wild. That's because they don't have one. They're going to be filled with bodies and no one's going to be doing autopsies. 3 months is a long time, folks. 3 months is a very long time for an autopsy. It's crazy. All right, you all. Thank you so much. I went ahead and took care of some little trollers. I told you, be quiet. Silence is golden. Do me a favor, show my mods a lot of love. I have gotten some backlash since I've been doing some good things for others. Let them keep doing what they're doing. Let them keep talking smack. They're going to get it back. Eventually, karma always comes to town. Look, do me a favor. Be well. Be good out there on these streets of TikTok and YouTube. Be good to one another. I really appreciate every single one of you. We're going to get some more information. I mean, look at this morgue. I'm just saying. Look at this morgue, y'all. Okay, you've got the ceiling coming down, you've got the stripping and all this coming off the wall. I mean, I know it's not a clean place, but it's not speak and span, it's not up to par, but I'll tell you, it's probably going to take them a little bit longer to get some type of thing going for autopsies. They still have to be certified and cleaned and all that good stuff. So, I appreciate every single one of you. I know, Wicca, you told them to stop. You told him to stock. You rack 'em. Yeah, that's true. Have you ever heard rack 'em and stack 'em? That's definitely what they're going to be doing, probably. All right, guys. Have a great night. Be good to one another. Let's just keep moving forward, finding answers, digging for the truth. I know a lot of people don't want us speaking on these documents that have come out or mentioning things, but you know what? The unthinkable questions are always going to be answered. And before I go, I want to share with you a video on the TikTok for all you out on the YT. Remember, I came from the TikTok days, moved over to YouTube, still on both, but I'm going to share this video that has almost 1 million views. And do me a favor. She reached out to me. I might bring her on live on a stream one day. But I want you to listen to what she has to say. Some of it I agree with, some of it I won't. And I'm just going to tell you right now before I play this video, have an open mind. Listen to what the real Jess Raines has to say.
All wrong. There were two males. Well, we were all wrong. There were two males in the house that night around 1:32 a.m. They pulled up and the girl walks outside and says, "Blank, what are you doing here? I see you, blank." And this video is for education and entertainment purposes only. When they realized Kaylee and Maddie were still at the corner club, they went to the corner club and then they followed them home. They get out of the car and slam the door and you hear them, they stop Murphy and you hear him say, "Blank, don't go too crazy in there." They enter the house. You hear him say, "Get that bitch into Xana's room." They did tie them up and they bound them together and they gagged them, Kaylee and Maddie. He proceeds to start yelling at her, asking if she had been double dipping. She said no. She said, "Please stop," basically. This is all around 3:45 now, or at least that's what the timestamps say. He proceeds to Kaylee, and you hear gurgling and aspirating. Maddie screams, "Kaylee, no." He says, "Stop." She says, "Kaylee," again. He says, "She's gone." As soon as he says she's gone, the other unidentified male, number 2, says, "Come on, let's get ready to go to the house and clean up." They found blood in the other cabin, remember? As soon as they go to exit around 3:48, almost to 3:49 a.m., at the very end of 3:48, so 3:48 and 50 seconds around then, he says, "Come on, let's get ready to go home and clean up." They go to walk out and Ethan walks in. Ethan gasps and says, "Oh shit, I'm calling 911." Then you hear the first male say, "Come here." He starts chasing Ethan. They get in a scuffle. It was the two men against Ethan. You hear Ethan yell for Xana, and then Xana comes down, and that's when the fight started with her, which is why she had so many defense wounds, because she was awake and she was trying to help Ethan, which is why Dylan never called 911, because she literally watched them unalive Ethan for saying he was going to call 911. Then one of the males speaks to one of the females, that must have been Dylan, and said, "Just tell them it was an accident." That's why Dylan didn't call 911. That's also why Dylan was so uncontrollably emotional at the sentencing, because she knew that Koberger was being put away for a life sentence and that the real people that did it would never go to prison, because they caught the unaliver, which is why in that Facebook post, she says, "I don't know who called 911. It wasn't me," because she didn't want them to come back and finish her off for calling 911. The dogs did know the two unalivers. And then it seems like at some point when another car pulls up, he says, "Just get Murphy and make sure he's safe." So they literally took the dog and wanted the dog to be safe while they were committing this heinous fucking crime. It all makes perfect sense now. The two unidentified male blood that they found at the crime scene, that's who the real culprits were. That's why it was their blood left at the scene, which is what always got me, because touch DNA can be transferred from object to object or person to person. So you could easily plant a knife sheath with someone else's DNA on it easily. What they didn't produce was a murder weapon, and typically DNA like blood would override something like touch DNA. So that means the people that did this have a lot of money. They're very prominent in that town. And if you follow the money trail to, I don't know, the officers and the judges and everyone they paid off, I bet you'd find out who the real killer is. When Dylan says in her interrogation, "I don't know if he knew me and that's why he spared me," they did know her. She was actually very close with male number 2. Very close. As in, like, maybe they dated, because they say the names multiple times. I'm not going to say them on here because I'm low-key scared that they'll come get me next, but that's what happened. There were at least 2 males inside of that house. They did restrain Murphy. That's why Murphy had nothing on him, no blood, no anything on him. That's why Dylan didn't call 911. That's why she was so scared in her interviews and didn't remember anything, because she knew that the unalivers were going to be contacting her and asking her, what did she say to police? And she probably knew that they could have access to the interrogations if they could pay off the police. That's why she wanted to start a GoFundMe, because she knew if something ever happened with this case and that family came for her, if they could bury Koberger in 4 life sentences, what could they do to her? I believe the only reason that Dylan was spared is because she was close to unidentified male number 2. I believe that Bethany was at the other house with the people that unalived the 2 girls, and that's why she kept texting her, just come down here. She wanted Dylan to leave the house and come down there with them, but would you want to leave the house and go to the house where the unalivers were? Doubtful. Even if it was your man, even if it was your friend. That's why she was texting. I don't know about anything else, but I'm going to try to go through some more of the audio footage, but I posted it with the caption so you guys could hear what I heard. He was accusing her of cheating. He said something, there will be no more of your lies. And that's when when Maddie started screaming for Kaylee. And he said, stop, she's gone. So he obviously knew that she was not alive then. And then you hear gurgling and aspirating. So it was either one of the girls. But I just want to know how you could live with that, because I've been up close to someone before they pass away and get that death gurgle. And I hope that it replays in their mind all day, every day. I hope it drives them insane. I hope if they see this TikTok, that I hope they know that karma's coming someday for them. And I pray that the truth comes out, because it seems to me now that Brian Koberger was framed 100%. That's why when he got pulled over for doing 41 and a 35, and he asked the cop for what he got pulled over for, he said he was speeding. Then the cop asked him, was he wearing a seatbelt? And Brian says, no. And the cop says, oh, well, that's no good. And he said, at least I was honest with you, right? He was using reverse psychology to try to make the officer feel bad, because he knew that they were plotting something on him. That's why when he got pulled over the one time, like 15 minutes apart, I believe the second time he got pulled over, he did it on purpose to prove that they had been following him. I guarantee you the stalker they said Kaylee had was the unaliver. It wasn't Brian Koberger. And if you lived right down the street from Kaylee, then that would be a good way to monitor her. But I do believe that Dylan invited her back, and that the person she was with coerced her to tell Kaylee to come back for that weekend. And I just think that she didn't know they were going to do all that. Am I giving her a free pass? No, but I can understand now kind of why she was so scared to call 911. Because obviously if she was the only one left alive in the house and the cops showed up in the middle of the night and nobody else was around, they would know that she was the one that called. And they would have made her pay for that. And then really where it goes from there is untelling, because you hear the cop saying that he was homeboys with Hunter J. So who was Hunter J close to? Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. I say it all the time, you guys. That's why when Brian Koberger got arrested, he said, did you get the other guys? Because at very least, maybe he was like a watchman or something, but them boys know what they did. And they're probably watching this TikTok right now with their rich little family who just paid to make all of this go away. That's why they wanted the trial to not happen, because if that unidentified male blood would have ever been brought up, or the unidentified male DNA that was found underneath Maddie's fingernails that didn't match Koberger, they would have known right away that he never did any of this. That's why he was so calm in court, because he knew he didn't do anything, or he didn't do what they said he did. And I'm not saying he was completely absolved of guilt, but I guarantee you if I could find a couple of voice clips of those friends, I could match it up 1,000%. This is how corrupt judicial systems can get if one person is in power in town and has a lot of connections. And that's what happened here. The unaliver was from a very Idaho prominent family, and they had done a lot for Idaho in general. Money can make people shut up, and I bet you if you followed the money trail, you would see which family was responsible for this cover-up. Well, we were all wrong.
She has some very valid points that I would agree with. There are some that I don't agree with, but I will say this. The last person in the house was Hunter Johnson, according to records, according to other witnesses' statements that he was there before the rest of the group got there. The unknown male DNA, what if they held back the match? And Ethan's DNA under Maddie's nails has never made sense to me. What if it was, in fact, his brother's DNA pure speculation. But I think that Brian Koberger got the big FU from Sigma Chi and the other frats in regards to the sheath DNA, not only from the ISP and the MPD, but the whole entire town, to get the outsider out, in my humble opinion. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure that you definitely shout out to my mods, give them some love on the way out, and make sure that you all stay safe. We will definitely talk more about this in the future. Be well.
I've been chasing shadows in the night. Words echo silent where I hide. Every mirror shows a stranger's eyes, searching for the part of me that's mine. But the sky ignites a spark inside, burning down to wait. In the ashes of my fight, truth is born.